Happy Tuesday. I'm here to spoil this week's podcast episode, which is The Hostage by Samyra Alexander. This is available on Kindle Unlimited and probably other places as well, but that's where I read it. This was actually an author request. She reached out to us and we did the book. So if you're an author and you would like us to review your book, you can go to our website, which is booktrospective.com, and submit a book or like whatever your request may be. So anyways, this is considered a psychological thriller, and this book follows two main characters, Brandy and Zane. They are both Black, and this takes place in Gary, Indiana, which I was like, oh, like we're in Indiana. And so basically, there's like no bright idea or decision made in this entire book, and it honestly pissed me off. So Brandy suffers from bipolar, I believe, and she basically has neither one of her parents are alive. She's basically always had a bad go of it. And Zane, her and Zane basically have like a trauma bond. He became friends with her in like high school. He kind of defended her, and she has lost custody of her daughter because during one of her depressive states, she really stopped taking care of her daughter, even though Zane would try and like help, but she lost custody because she lost it on her boss and like spit on him at work, and he called TPS on her, allegedly. And she lost her daughter. Zane also has two boys, and his baby mama kicked him out because he's in the streets, and he did not get out of the streets, and somebody told on him because he was still in the streets. So they are like living together at her aunt's house, at Brandy's aunt's house, and she has not been taking her medicine. They decide to go out to the club. She does not tell Zane that her aunt wants them to be home for curfew. The aunt puts them out. He's pissed, and he's really just sick of her ish. He's sick of her. He gets them a hotel room. He goes to work. He also calls and talks to her daughter, Braylon, I believe. She does not want to talk to her. She gets real teared up. It's a real emotional situation. And so while she's alone at the hotel, motel, whatever, she sleeps with this man, then gets mad because he doesn't want to pay him, kind of robs him. Then he goes to report her to the manager and gets them both kicked out of the hotel, motel for prostitution. Then she takes all of their stuff to a bus stop and then is wandering around the city, and then their stuff gets robbed, including Zane's PlayStation. Girl. I was like, please stop leaving her in charge of stuff. So she decides, because she does DoorDash, that they should go and kidnap one of her DoorDash clients because she doesn't come outside because she has agoraphobia. So they do it. He agrees. I don't know why he agrees. Before they do it, though, he stops by his baby mama's house and begs and pleads for her to take him back and says he cannot stand Brandy. Brandy's like, what am I, chopped liver? And the baby mama's like, no, I'm not taking you back. So they go in this lady's house, and it's decorated the 1820s, and she's a real pretty woman or whatever, but she's wearing pilgrim dresses. I don't know. And she's like, yeah, take whatever you want. And they're like, no, we want to live here. Also, there's rats, huge and plural, rats everywhere. But they start staying there, and it immediately starts getting weird. Zane immediately starts being nice to this lady, kind of falling for this lady. He's eating her food. Brandy's like, I'm not eating anything in this house. It's disgusting. There are rats. Zane and Brandy end up bathing together because they're afraid to be alone because of the rats. And she kind of wants to be with him, but he obviously doesn't want that. He wants to be with his baby mama. His whole plan for them was they were supposed to be saving up to buy a house together to have all their kids together, and she's really messing up that plan. So they do that. They put all these locks on the girl's door. I can't remember. Okay, the lady's name is Carlotta. They put all these locks on her door, and they go in the bathroom, and then when they go to get out of the bathroom, they cannot get out for 3 hours. And she's like, oh, the bathroom sticks or whatever. And then Zane goes to work, and she starts reading Brandy this story because she supposedly is a horror author, and it's basically about this guy named Tom Sawyer and his wife, his wife Trixie, and their kids. They have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, and how they decide that they're sick of rich people, so they start to grape and murder rich families and their kids throughout the 90s to the thousands. And so it's a whole story about that, which Brandy is actually really into this book, and she tells her the stories throughout the book or whatever. And while they're staying there, things just start getting more weird. One day Zane comes home, and he buys new clothes, and all his clothes get shredded, and then there's a note on the wall that says I'm not here to hurt you, I'm here to you. And then they go out to get him new clothes, and they get chased off the road by this like truck, and they're like shooting at it, but it doesn't care. It's like chasing them off the road. And like Zane and Carlotta get closer and closer and closer until like one night Brandy literally like hears them like doing the do, and she's like pissed. She's so over it. Meanwhile, she did tell her daughter, like she talked to her on FaceTime, and her daughter does not want to talk to her, but she's like, I'm gonna take you like trick-or-treating. And Zane said he was gonna take his kids trick-or-treating, so they're supposed to all do it. Well, Halloween comes, she wakes up that morning, and it is two white guys that come in. Carlotta also is white, and drags him in by his neck. This is the morning after she heard Zane and Carlotta like hooking up or whatever. And surprise, surprise, these guys live with Carlotta because they had found a whole bunch of like men's clothes in her house, and she's like, oh, those are like my dead parent and brothers. No, it's not. Turns out Carlotta's real name is Tina, and she and these two guys are the kids from the story that she was writing, and that was about her family and her parents and like their lives. So they're basically like, yeah, like you guys were in here like taking advantage of like our sister or our girl or whatever they claim to be, and we're gonna get our get back. So first Brandy's like, okay, like I'll just wait on the police. They're like, we're not calling the police. She's like, oh, they're gonna us. Yeah, they are. So they take them downstairs and like put them in a circle, like in the middle of the room, and they like circle around them, which is what they would do to their victims. And they're like, they used to play this game with all their victims, like make them answer like U.S. history questions or whatever. But first they want to like make her fight Carlotta, whose real name is Tina, because she was always trying to like strong arm Carlotta / Tina. And like actually Tina is like real buff or whatever, but she could never tell. And also Tina's like, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant because we had like schmecks multiple times last night, and now I'm pregnant. And so since she's supposed to be pregnant, the guys are like, oh, like we like you guys, we'll let you live if you can like answer the questions correctly. But first they go to have dinner. So Carlotta goes to like prep dinner or whatever, and while she's in the other room with the guys, we learn some very interesting facts. Number one, Zane admits that not only is Brandy's mom dead, but it's because because she supposedly like was involved in setting up a drug dealer, and he did it for $2,000. Yeah. So she's like, oh, I hate you. But then he's like, yeah, but I'm not the only one with secrets. And he's like, who is Braylon's dad? She's like, go ahead and say it. And he's like, yeah. Basically, one night when he was really drunk, Brandy raped him, and he thought it was his baby mama. And so this whole time, that's his daughter, and he's like really mad because he like had her and his other baby mom pregnant at the same time, and like he's like, my kids could never know because like I can't embarrass them like that, all these things. And now like they're like in this whole situation, and yeah, so yeah, real interesting. So then they go eat dinner, like even Brandy is like forced to eat dinner. Then they come back, they start asking the facts, and Zane gets a question wrong, and they literally his head off. It goes rolling. Then like literally Brandy's like dissociating. She's like, okay, I don't know. She gets like a question right, but then she misses the next question, and then yeah, that's all she wrote. And then we jump ahead like the next year, and yeah, Tina / Carlotta literally has the baby, and she's like, I'm gonna raise it just like how like we were raised, and make sure all of our traditions are kept. And yeah, that's the book. It's a really, really short book. I believe she's like a newer author, but I would check it out. The storyline is interesting. There are things we talk about in the episode, so definitely listen to the episode for more details. But if you're interested, one, you can listen to our episodes on Apple or Spotify, and then again, this is available on Kindle Unlimited and probably other places as well. So I will be back next week to spoil another book.